But we need to talk about matters of national importance.
Yeah.
We've had 6 cases of state of emergency in Nigeria, all the way from 1962, where the Western region, Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa declared a state of emergency. In 2004, in Plateau State, there was a state of emergency after 2,000 people were killed in riots in Plateau State. Then you had in Ekiti State in 2006. Then Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa in 2013, 2014 as a result of insecurity. And most recently, Rivers State, Nigeria in 2025 as a result of basically a power tussle and struggle between the state. Now, several questions come to mind. We've seen insecurity in the northern states of Nigeria where several lives were taken and we didn't have this type of action. We've also seen a situation where the National Assembly has recently been accused by most people as being a rubber stamp assembly because the speed at which the national anthem change was passed by both legislative arms raised questions because the opinion of Nigerians weren't taken into consideration when that was
True.
done. And what impact has that had so far? But critically, with the president's proclamation of state of emergency in Rivers State, something which I personally find troubling is the fact that constitutionally you should have a two-thirds majority to get this done from the National Assembly. Now, this has been done speedily, but this was done through a voice vote. I know for a fact that we have the capacity to vote electronically or to actually have these votes recorded in a way where one, there's quorum as stipulated by the Constitution, and there's actually a conversation or even attempts to foster peace. Is this being done because Rivers State is an oil-producing state and now this affects the financial capacity of the country? Is this more important than lives? But what about the case of the fact that we all know as Nigerians, allegedly this is a power tussle between the Minister of FCT and the Rivers State Governor because they've both been in the press constantly having these conversations. Like Africans say, when two elephants fight,
Grasshoppers.
we have a guest, an experienced guest who will be sharing his opinions and thoughts about this and also educating us and the average Nigerian about the River State crisis. Joining us we have.
We have Yusuf Abubakar Yusuf, who was actually the senator of Taraba Central District from 2015 to 2023. Good morning. It's nice to have you back on the show.
Welcome back, Senator.
So, I would like you to describe your own, understanding of the current political crisis in River State. We've been seeing the news ongoing, for since the governor actually was sworn in and different issues back and forth. But in your own opinion, what led to the state of emergency? What led to this political crisis?
Well, thank you very much. What led to this situation? What led to emergency? There are two different things. State of emergency will come as a result of the interpretation of Mr. President based on Section 305, or probably subsection 3. If it is in the mind of Mr. President that the situation in Rivers has reached a stage that the public law and order has been broken, or there is insecurity that has been generated as a result of one thing or the other. But it is a very, very difficult thing in the sense that I sympathize with Mr. President because for him to declare the state of emergency, a lot of other issues might have come on board. So, but for me, what has happened in River State, in my own opinion, I think we have reached a stage, or we have passed a stage of declaring state of emergency after the Supreme Court has given its own judgment. If it's before that, then it was, absolutely necessary at that point in time where the governor is dealing with a small number of people and as a feeling that, look, on the side of the people, that is the legislature, There are just few people. They are not effective representation of the various local governments and what have you. But probably after the Supreme Court judgment, Mr. President has received, a lot of probably, security reports, as there might be, or there's a potential break of law and order. Maybe that is why he has taken that decision. But like I said, Section 305, subsection 1 said he may, not shall. But under Section 305, subsection 3, subsection 4, subsection 5, all what they are talking about is that shall. So, even the Constitution has given Mr. President the leeway. It is not mandatory that he should, but it is as a result of his mind what he has actually found from security reports. That is why he has taken that state of emergency. The Constitution has given him the right to declare state of emergency under conditions of 205 subsection 3.
But Senator, yes, the Constitution has given him the leeway, and I like your choice of words. However, he had appointed the sole administrator and inaugurated even before the Senate and the House of Reps had time to vote this into law.
Yeah, these are, like I said, these are when you are dealing with National Assembly and when you are dealing with instruments of law, and you are dealing with the declaration. So it all depends on, again, like I said, I still go back to the word may. That means he can do it and then ask for endorsement of the National Assembly, or he can send it quickly and then ask for the endorsement before he declares. So, it all depends, it's a leeway that, he has decided to take.
But constitutionally, doesn't that set a bad precedent? Because, yes, there's a way it should be done. And so the legislative arm has about 72 hours if they are currently sitting. But if in recess, they have about 10 days.
I think 48.
Exactly.
That
And
is
so,
2 days.
Yes, 48 hours. And so would it have been so hard to, one, as the president, call all the parties involved once again and give matching orders? Two, find a way for the National Assembly to also call the State Assembly to order. Don't you think this was rushed, this decision?
Well, like I said, when an issue of security, issue of security is matter of life and protection of life and property. So if it is in the mind of Mr. President, based on the information he has, it has become extremely urgent for him to do that. That is why I said, he has been, the Constitution is actually has given him leeway to do this or that, depending on the kind of information and the kind of relationship he has. With the stakeholders in River State.
But don't you feel the state of emergency was a severe, move by the president, seeing as the situation in River State cannot be compared to certain situations that we've seen in some northern states with loss of lives, loss of properties, and all of that. And those states, there wasn't any state of emergency called. Do you think this particular situation deserved this call?
Well, about deserving or not deserving, like I say, it depends on the kind of information he has, at the material time. Here he is dealing with a government that is not operative. Operative in the sense that the executive is at loggerhead with the legislature. Now, governance has become a serious issue. Now, it is different from where you have security, not as a result of misunderstanding or lack of communication or whatever between the executive and the legislator in other areas. So they are different, actually. What has happened, during Goodluck's time is actually different from what is happening in Rivers at this point in time. Also, what is happening in Zamfara, for instance, or what is happening in Sokoto or Katsina or Kaduna, they are different. This one is forces fighting the government. And in Rivers, it is government fighting itself. So as to who will control what, there may be, a very difficult situation, to comprehend. So I think that is where the differences are.
Senator, as someone from the most respected chamber in government in Nigeria, do you think that we're not being the most truthful as a nation in how this is being handled, in the sense that this is a battle between the former governor, Wike, who is the minister of the FCT, who is in the executive arm of government, and the Rivers State governor? Because one, when the 27 members had decamped, they all flew into Abuja to meet the FCT minister. Secondly, the FCT minister had given conditions for peace, which was one, the budget needs to be represented, and two, list of commissioners must be resubmitted. He's no longer the governor of that state. He's the minister of the FCT, and his business should be the FCT. He has so much sway and say in what's going on, but there are no repercussions to him. There's actually the FCT minister at one of his town hall press briefings where he said it's not only Ijaw people who can blow pipelines. This is out there in the media, and so allegedly, unless this was modified, so I'm forced to say allegedly, no one is speaking about his role in this. The members of the House of Assembly are obviously reporting to someone to ensure sustainable peace. Don't you think we're just placing a band-aid on the problem without dealing with the root cause, which is this is a fight between the governor of the state, now suspended, and the minister of the FCT? Why are we dancing around this as a nation?
Well, that is interpretation. I was listening to a colleague of mine, in House of Representatives, why he's totally precluding, the minister of FCT.
Yes.
What he said is the fight or whatever between the members of our House of Assembly and the governor. That the minister of FCT is not part of the whole thing. However, we know from behind the scene, the minister has been saying certain things, the governor has been saying certain things, the stakeholders have been saying certain things. The whole of this now will come to find out what is really the issue. Because sometimes it is very, very difficult to say what the issue is. Is it political? Is it economic? Or is it security? We have almost a similar thing brewing in Kaduna.
Yes.
Now, in the case of Kaduna, what is the issue? In the case of Rivers, what is the issue? Is it that I think there's a saying in Yoruba. I don't know exactly the Yoruba words, but where it says that you cannot give somebody a ram and hold the rope. So, if Fubara, was brought in by the factor of Minister Wike, and also the members House of Assembly were brought in by his own factor, then the issue will be, me, minister, I have handed over, run the state as you feel like doing. But there are individuals. Maybe there is something between Wike and Fubara that we do not know. It's just like a quarrel between husband and wife, actually. If you say you want to intervene sometimes, you'll burn your fingers.
Which is why the children suffer, and in this case, the state is suffering.
State is suffering. Now, the issue I want to say is we have not heard what the real situation is. Is it economic? Is it control of resources? Or control of political power? Or people, talking to Wike, others talking to others talking to the governor. But in my own, what do you call it, way, I would have said Wike should have sat down with the governor and the stakeholders because the issue is not really even the members' House of Assembly, it's the governor. Governor, this is how I would want you, or how would want us to handle, because no matter how you look at it, you will not wish away Wike when it comes to, somebody that has been governor for 8 years. He must have his own structure, he must have all this. But that does not mean that he should be overbearing on the governor. So I think it is the nature of the overbearing that is the issue. Unlike Kaduna, for instance, I could remember hearing, Malam Nasrufai is saying that, look, I have handed over the state to you, do whatever you want. I will not even want to nominate a commissioner. I will not want to do anything. Go ahead. But if you need any advice, come and meet me. I will give you advice on the basis of this. But there are two different issues. Maybe it's godson and godfather. Maybe, if you could remember, was it Anambra?
Yes.
Where the governor then signed agreement with the funders.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a similar thing behind the scene, and at this critical time, the governor would not want to say that. Wike would not want to say that because of the implication. Maybe. Because if you remember, the governor of Anambra was kidnapped.
Yes. And
So,
forced to sign a resignation
exactly.
letter.
So
Yeah.
we do not know. But the issue is, Mr. President,
Yes.
that has come into this matter, just like what was done in Lagos, to say, look, House of Assembly, pipe down, work with the governor, and then let's see how it will go about. But, my people say, in Hausa is Sarki Goma Zamani Goma. That means that, every ruler has his own epoch. Now, whether the advisors who might be, or who could be, looking the way to benefit from the crisis in rivers. So they want to either misguide or misadvise Mr. President, who is a busy man. That's why I sympathize with him. He is so busy, running around, to care for the country, running around to stabilize that, to stabilize other issues. And at the same time, he has one state Rivers, he has another one Katsina, he has another one Kaduna, he has another one Zamfara, he has Lagos, and what have you. So probably he was relying so much on the people who advise him. But I think, if he should have tarried a little bit, especially after the Supreme Court judgment, maybe it will not have resulted into declaration of state of emergency.
Senator, you've mentioned handovers, you've mentioned godfatherism, godson relationships. You've also mentioned, nominating of commissioners and all of that. And in a democracy, it's interesting that we're talking about things like this, because I don't know at what point we became a monarchy in Nigeria where a previous governor will be handing over to a new governor and having such influence, seeing as the people have voted this particular person. So this particular person should be the sole, proprietor over the state. But I just want to know, how do we move away from this?
Well, in my own opinion, to move away from this is not a difficult issue. It's a matter of sitting down and negotiating with the stakeholders. I have run this state for 8 years. I have done my successes. I think there's a saying that, every success must have a successor. Now, if he wants somebody who will succeed him, he might have some little, influence to make sure that all what he has built over time is not destroyed. But surprisingly, they are all in the same political party, it's PDP. So maybe there's also a partisanship there, the party, you know, in every state, in every political party, there are some aligning this way and some aligning that way.
Yeah.
So, and in the alliances or in the caucuses that are happening, they will want to corner the resources. Some will say, well, this governor will not allow us to corner the resources because we have been cornering these resources in the previous governor. So for us, you know, the time is up for us, but we will not allow that. We must be part and parcel of whatever is being cooked in Rivers. So, like I said, there are multidimensional interest groups, you know, that one has to be very, very careful. But going back to your question, the moment you want to become governor, and you have been part and parcel of the governance, okay? And you have given a signal or an indication that you will not be able to do it on your own. So you will want somebody to back you up so that, you know, you can get it. So somebody backing you up certainly will offend other people. So the other people that are offended may see that they are not going to be part and parcel of the whole equation. So to take care of that, first of all, you start from the integrity of the political party. Because where parties are saying that the governor of a state, you know, has the powers to control every aspect of the political structure, then, you know, you are giving it to an individual. And the moment you give power to an individual, there will be an issue of dictatorship. So it is also happening in APC, it's happening in PDP, it's happening in most of the, so it is the nature of our political evolution over time because we came out of military dictatorship and a winner must take all so that, you know, I don't want to lose. Because these governors, when they leave their own states, the kind of benefits they get in terms of either their pension, in terms of this and that and that and that, is not small amount of resources. So maybe a governor may come to find that he has no resources to meet what has already planted for him to bear. And they will say, well, sir, I don't have resources to meet these issues. You say, well, the law says you should do it, you must do it. So I think, you know, even the way we look at, you know, these issues, we have to have a rethink as to how we can manage, you know, the resources of a state when we have a new sheriff, you know, in power. So it cascades from the political party down to, you know, the governance.
Senator, I think that's a great place to leave it. Senator Yusuf Abubakar Yusuf is a former senator representing Taraba Central Senatorial District between 2015 and 2023. We hope that this gets resolved in a timely fashion, and we are concerned about the implication all of these differences would have in the 2027 election, because we are now entering that season where a lot of this gets tied into the new political conversation. But just finally, in 30 seconds, the Senate and the House of Reps had a voice vote on the state of emergency. Constitutionally, it's meant to be a two-thirds majority. Do you think that was a massive error on the part of the National Assembly?
Well, from what I have seen, I don't think it is handled well, because if the both houses are saying that they are going to rely on the register, you know, that means, you know, as senators and members come every morning, you register and then sign. If they say they are going to rely on that, you know, I think there's something missing there. There's a missing link. So what they would have done is either, you know, they call a divide, you know, or they go electronic, or they go by counting. that should have been, because if this matter goes to a court now, I don't know what they are going to put before the court and say that we have two-thirds, because there's no two-thirds of voice.
Senator, you've answered it, and thanks for your honesty.
Thank you very much.
That's the mark we're going to take on the political segment. We have more for you on the weekend show. Don't go away.